parents canceled my birthday party because of my spoiled younger brother. It was supposed to be the most exciting day of my year, my birthday. I had been counting down the days for weeks, eagerly anticipating the party my parents promised. Balloons, cake, friends, and laughter were all I could think about. However, as the day approached, I noticed something strange. My parents seemed more stressed than usual. I brushed it off, telling myself they were just busy with the final preparations. On the morning of my birthday, I woke up with a heart full of joy. The smell of pancakes wafted through the house, and I jumped out of bed, rushing to the dining room. I expected a celebratory breakfast, complete with a chorus of happy birthday. Instead, the mood felt somber. My parents exchanged worried glances when I entered. I could feel something was off, but I didn't want to spoil my excitement. After breakfast, my friends began to arrive, each one carrying colorful gifts and wide smiles. But just as the party started picking up, chaos erupted. My younger brother, who had been seeking attention all morning, knocked over a stack of presents. My friends giggled at first, but then my parents lost their patience. They reprimanded him, but he started to cry, and in an effort to soothe him, they turned their attention away from the party. I could sense the party slipping through my fingers. One by one, my friends looked to me for direction, unsure whether to stay or leave. My heart sank as I saw my mom whisper urgently to my dad in the kitchen, their voices raised just enough for me to catch bits of the conversation. Words like spoiled, enough is enough, and cancel the party sent chills down my spine. Moments later, my parents gathered everyone in the living room. With heavy hearts, my mom announced that the party was being called off, citing my brother's behavior as the reason. I felt the weight of disappointment crash over me like a wave. The joy of the day turned to embarrassment and sadness. My friends shuffled out, crossing their arms and offering weak smiles, as if they didn't know what to say. In the silence that followed, I confronted my brother, my emotions boiling over. "Why did you have to mess everything up?" I yelled, feeling a mix of anger and hurt. He looked up with teary eyes, and in that moment, I realized that he didn't mean to ruin my day. He was just a kid craving attention. As I took a deep breath, I knew that blaming him wouldn't change what had happened. But deep down, I felt betrayed by my parents for letting a single incident overshadow my special day. After a long, quiet evening, my parents sat me down and apologized. They explained that they didn't mean to disappoint me, but felt overwhelmed by the situation. I listened but couldn't shake the feeling that my birthday had been taken away from me, not just by my brother's antics, but by their reaction to it. That night, as I lay in bed, I reflected on the importance of understanding and communication. It was a bittersweet lesson on family dynamics and the complexities of being the older sibling. The next day, my friends checked in, sending texts filled with birthday wishes. Though the party was canceled, their support lifted my spirits. I realized that it wasn't about the party itself, but the love and friendships that mattered most. In the end, I decided to embrace the situation, forgiving my brother and my parents. We may not have had the birthday I envisioned, but I learned that sometimes, even the most disappointing moments can lead to growth and understanding within a family. A couple of days after my birthday, my parents surprised me with a small family outing to make up for the canceled party. They took me to my favorite restaurant, where I could indulge in pizza and ice cream. I felt a flicker of joy, knowing they were trying to make amends. As we sat around the table, I decided to bring up the events of my birthday again. "I know you were trying to help my brother, but do you realize how disappointed I felt?" I asked gently, hoping to convey my feelings without starting a family argument. My dad looked thoughtful, nodding in understanding. "You're right. We should have handled it better. Birthdays are important, and we didn't prioritize your feelings in that moment. We got caught up in the chaos. I'm sorry." My mom chimed in, her eyes filled with sincerity. "We never wanted to make you feel unimportant. We realize now we need to balance both your needs and your brother's." As we enjoyed our meal, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. I was grateful that they were willing to listen to my feelings. I understood that my brother needed attention, but it didn't mean I didn't deserve my own special day. That night, we returned home, and I found a small gift waiting for me on my bed, a thoughtful gesture from my parents, a book I had been wanting to read. It felt like a symbol of their commitment to make things right. In the following weeks, my brother and I began to form a stronger bond. I made an effort to engage him in activities like playing board games and watching movies together. I taught him how to play some video games, showing him that he could have fun without causing chaos. He seemed to flourish with the attention, and in turn, I felt more seen and appreciated. It became a way for us to bridge the gap that had formed during the party fiasco. One Saturday, my parents arranged a small gathering with just my closest friends, a do-over birthday party, if you will. They ensured it would be low-key, focusing on what truly mattered, celebrating together without the stress. As my friends walked into the house, their smiles instantly brightened the atmosphere. I felt a wave of gratitude wash over me. They had come back, ready to create new memories, which was all I ever really wanted. During the party, my brother surprised everyone by baking cupcakes with my parents' help. Watching him proudly present his creation, I couldn't help but smile. It felt nostalgic and bonded me to him in a way I hadn't expected. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and joy, and it was a reminder that every family has its ups and downs. Even when things don't go as planned, we can still make the best of what we have. As the day drew to a close, we gathered around to sing Happy Birthday once more. My brother proudly announced, "This time, it's going to be perfect." His innocent enthusiasm was infectious, and I found myself genuinely laughing. In that moment of pure joy, I realized that birthdays are not just about parties or gifts. They're about the people we surround ourselves with and the love we share. When I blew out the candles, I made a wish, not for more gifts or grand parties, but for understanding and connection within our family. I wanted us to learn to communicate better, to be there for one another, and to recognize that we all have our moments of need. And as my brother cheered the loudest, I felt hopeful about our family's future.